So here I'm being joined now by one of the baddest men in the entire universe, and that is Amos, better known as Wes Chatham. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you? It's good to be here.
Excellent. Now, so Wes, the past 2 seasons have been a roller coaster ride for Amos.
Right.
He's gone through some shit. Season 1, we didn't really get to learn too much about Amos early on.
Right.
Season 2, though, it's like you guys kick the doors open,
Yeah.
You're throwing it all out there.
Yeah, you open it up.
Yeah, so for you, that must have been a lot of fun to be able to play with your character more.
Right. What's been a lot of fun is going into season 1, and I've been heavily influenced by the churn, but going in and start planting these seeds and knowing the history and where he's from and why he is the way he is, and start planting these seeds, certain behavior, certain things psychologically, certain things that he's got to go through, and then starting to plant those seeds. And then season 2, things start to reveal themselves. Season 3, you really start to get to see who he is. But what's been really fun is how astute and observant the fans are of what the little choices you're making, psychological choices, how they're picking up, and they understand things in a way that I didn't think that they would understand yet. And so then it's like, okay, well, let's see what you think about season 3 when you start to see the most important relationship to Amos, and the thing that oriented to him was his relationship to Naomi.
Right.
Now that has been destroyed in a lot of ways because she betrayed us, and so now you get to see who Amos is without her, and how he orients himself, and that really the law of the jungle is really how he responds to the world, and that's where he's from, and that's how he sees things. And so it's really interesting to see. I'm really excited about season 3 playing out in that way. One of the things that really surprised me about Amos, and I think is beautiful, and we really get to show it this season, is Amos's tenderness and kindness towards children. And there is specific things that happen to him in his childhood that he has a certain kind of connection and an ability to empathize with children that he doesn't really have with adults. And there's a lot of beautiful moments in this season where you see that side of him, which I thought was really interesting. Because of certain things that happened to him as a child, and the certain traumatic things that he went through, he is put together emotionally and mentally different than a lot of people. A lot of his circuits are done. So a lot of what you expect that he's going to be, a lot of the things that you expect that his relationship is, are a little bit different once you start to get down deeper and deeper to who he really is.
Yeah. No, it's amazing, and I know you in the panel. I caught some of the panel where you mentioned how you have read some of the books, but you've got this interesting way of not reading too far ahead. So you don't, like, you mentioned the churn a lot and stuff because it's key to Amos, but you're not reading too far ahead.
Yeah.
So you don't get that spoiled. What has that been like? Like when you get to the end of the book, and you're like, oh, like. You feel you want to go right away and read it, or you're just like you have to hold yourself back for those scripts and everything?
Hold myself back. I think the thing is when I start reading too far ahead, things start to get too intellectual, and I start to say, oh, well, this is where I'm going, and I try to do that. Right. Whereas if I stay more present and with the scripts and what's actually going on in that story, it forces me to be present and deal with the current situation and make the choices in the moment without knowing the impact of what they're going to be. You kind of changes the way you behave in a certain way, and I find it's more exciting to work that way, right. to know as much as possible, but also keep yourself in the dark in a lot of in what the future is, because you don't want to get too heady, too intellectual about it.